Hey everybody, it's Chase with AVA Pop Culture again, and today I am here to tell you why 1985 is the best year in film history. Pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so I am back with part 2 in this ongoing series where I take the top 10 or 15 years, or what I feel are the top 10 or 15 years in all of movie history, and I give you the top 25 movies from that year, my top 25 list, that is. And then at the end of this series, we are going to take all of the years, and I'm going to do one video and I'm going to rank the years as a whole, and we are going to find out just which one is the best year in movie history. And today we have another strong contender from the 80s. You're going to see several 80s in here, but don't worry, there's plenty of other decades represented throughout this series. So if this isn't your year, or there's another year that you think is great, hold on tight because we might just get to it eventually. But this year, 1985, has so many great and iconic and cult hit movies that I have great films that I own in beautiful sets that didn't even make my own top 25. I literally sat down doing my research and came up with a list of 50 films, actually a few more, it's like 53 films from this year that are absolutely great films and iconic, from cult hits, horror, Oscar darlings, everything in between, action hits, sci-fi, you name it. 1985 was bringing the heat when it came to movies. And remember, this is my top 25. This isn't like IMDb's ranking of top 25. This isn't necessarily like the Oscar darlings and the, this film is so great. How could you not have that on the list? You're a film director. It's top 25 films that I consider iconic and that I enjoy watching again and again and again. And there'll be some honorable mentions at the end because there's stuff that I just don't want to leave out. In fact, starting on our top 25 here at number 25, coming out of the gate, I have a tie because I just couldn't leave one of these off the list. And to me, they're similar. Now, one of them I have on physical media, one of them I don't. This tie goes to Chevy Chase and Fletch, because creating the iconic Fletch character, and then you have Fletch Lived, spawned a sequel, and a Moon River. If you know that scene, with the doctor. And I love Chevy Chase. I love that film, and it ties for 25 with one that I do have, and that is the horror comedy, the cult hit House. How can you go wrong with House? I absolutely love this. I got this set. I actually just rewatched it the other day. You had William Catt, who I think of from Greatest American Hero. I believe that's what the name of it. You had Richard Mull, who is I think of from Night Court, and you and you have Norm from Cheers. I mean, but this film is an iconic horror comedy haunted house movie with some great practical effects, got some Lovecraft feeling in there. I love House. This is a awesome set from Arrow, House 1 and House 2. And then you have this big booklet here, and it is super cool. If you haven't seen this movie, how could you not love House? Like, I'm sitting here reading the back of it, but this is a very good movie. In a movie like this and Fletch tying for 25 in my list, that tells you kind of what we're in store for on this list. All right, next up, hey, I'm going right back to Chevy Chase, but this time with Dan Aykroyd, and I am talking Spies Like Us. When I was younger, this was like not one of my favorite films in the 80s when I was a kid watching like Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. But as I got older and into a teenager, I really loved Spies Like Us. I was close to, I always liked the movie. Don't get me wrong, but like the older I got, the more I liked this film, and I love it today. I always think of this part, like where they're going through their training. It's so everything is so reflective. I don't know if you can see that where their faces get contorted, but like this movie is just a lot of fun. It's Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd absolutely going after it together. Those Saturday Night Live ties. You have some beautiful co-stars in here, and it is a lot of fun. And comes in at number 24 on our list. The next one is one that I don't have, surprisingly, and I'm waiting. I'm going to get this whole set, I believe, in 4K, and that is Mel Gibson and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, or Thunderdome, and two men enter, one man leaves. It's a little lower on my list probably than it is a lot of people's, but I prefer the original Mad Max movie. And I mean, to be quite honest, none of them since the original has done it for me quite the same. But I do love it. And, you got Tina Turner coming in there. So how can you go wrong? I mean, it's an iconic film. Like the Mad Maxes, look how many sequels they've spawned, whether you like them or not. It's there, 1985, already into the sequel. Definitely had to find its way on our list, and I know some of you are probably going to be mad. You're going to think it should be much higher, but hey, it's my list. All right, coming in at number 22 is one that I am in the market for an Arrow box set that's pretty pricey, especially considering they can't really get it to you in 4K because of the quality that the original film was left in. But I do have what's considered maybe the worst version to watch of this film, and I have it on VHS, and that is Legend. The other artwork that has come out since then is so much better. You got your Ridley Scott film, young Tom Cruise here, and you've got Tim Curry playing the devil, and it's just an iconic film. There's a reason that Arrow has dropped a big beautiful box set on it, and it's one that I'm in the market to get. But I know they had a lot of trouble surrounding this film, and sometimes like in the filming, and sometimes when you have films that are difficult to get in the can, so to speak, get it filmed and on and finished, those end up being some of the like most memorable films that people love. And then there's others that we work hard on and that go so smoothly, and you think it's so great, and people are like, nah. It's kind of the same thing with these films, like these videos. Sometimes you're like, man, I think that was a good video, and people don't respond. And then you make one that you don't think is good, and people think it's great. So it's art, it's subjective. But definitely if nothing else, Tim Curry, the makeup on this is absolutely iconic. Legend. It's probably higher on a lot of people's lists, but checks in for me here at number 22. Now, number 21 is one that I don't have, surprisingly, on physical media, but it won't take long, and I'll have it. And that is The Explorers. Now, if you've never seen The Explorers, you've got, like, River Phoenix in there, and it's 3 kids, and they build a spaceship, and they go into outer space. It is... like the great kids sci-fi fantasy movie. And again, this is one that probably could be higher on on a lot of people's list. But when I look like on IMDb's list of like the top 200 films from this year, it's like way down in like 84 or something like that, which absolutely blew my mind, but tells you how deep this year actually is. It's a deep, it's a deep year when a Joe Dante film like this with Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix is like on IMDb is that low. But on my list, it does check in here at number 21. It's one that I watched so many times. I mean, you're a kid, like back in the 80s, we would get outside and play and build forts and use our imagination and stuff like that. So something like this like really hit home. So to me, definitely has to be on the top 25 and adds a lot to this year. All right, number 20. We are in the top 20, and I'm going to go way off the reservation for some of you on this, but others of you are going to be like, hell yes, that should be there. And this is a film that actually has a recent, I believe, Blu-ray release, and I can't remember if it's from Kino Lorber or who it's from. I don't like the art on the new release as much, but I don't have any of the releases now. And I am talking about Shokasuke in Pray for Death. Now, in the 80s, man, martial arts and ninja stuff and everything was super popular. My brother and I consumed every martial arts film out there. I mean, we were so into it. We had ninja stars. To this day, I have ninja stars, and I can throw those things because of these 80s movies. I mean, you could go set up a target 20 yards away. I'll get it. And Shokasuke was like an icon of that. And I mean, I remember in this movie, like he wanted to leave the ninja life behind. And then, through factors, like bad guys pull him back into it and they play this song, Back to the Shadows, as he's like getting all of his ninja stuff back together. And I absolutely loved this movie. I had a ninja suit as a kid because of this movie. Pray for Death comes in for me at number 20 in 1985. Now, where am I at here? Did I lose my spot already? No. At number 19 is one that I've talked about a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it a whole lot. This is the comedy that I love, Mischief, starring Kelly Preston and Catherine Mary Stewart. I love it. Nice little 80s sex comedy set in the 50s. I've talked about it a lot. Make sure you check out some of the other videos if you want to know more about it. Love this film. Comes in here at number 19, Mischief. All right, number 18 is one that I don't have, and that's because I am trying to find and buy and get the definitive 4K versions of both part 1 and part 2, and I am talking about Demons. Now, I was probably way too young when I saw Demons because the first one scarred the hell out of me. You have all those demons in the movie theater taking over and coming out, and it is something. I mean, so, if you haven't, this is Dario Argento, obviously, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this film, but like I remember being a kid and these people, get invited to this mysterious movie screening or whatever, and you combine that whole like movie and movie theater and then the real demons, and this movie is a trip. When you're a little, like, I mean, I think I was like 6 when this came out, and I probably saw it like a year or so later when it got to home video. So maybe a year and a half later. So maybe I was like 7 or so. And I had my brother is older and we watched this on home video. And yeah, pretty intense. I want this, but I want this in 4K. And I know that there's like a set out there, and it's just on my list of things to get. It could probably be higher on this list, but Dario Argento comes in here at number 18 with Demons. Number 17 for me is just one that I loved watching as a kid. This is actually a Walter Hill film, I do believe, and this is it's Walter Hill. Yeah, directed by Walter Hill. It's one that I only have on an old ass VHS. Richard Pryor, John Candy. I'm talking about Brewster's Millions. Now, I know there's other releases of this. Again, this is on my to get list. I kind of love having this old ass VHS, though. I'll never let it go. I have loved this thing for a long time. If you haven't seen the film, I mean, John Candy and Richard Pryor are great in this. Richard Pryor has a long lost super rich relative that dies, and he kind of tests him, wants to make him hate money before he gives it to him. So he gives him in the will, he's got 30 days to spend $30 million and have no assets to show for it at the end. So by the end of 30 days, he is so damn sick of money. I mean, he gets like hundreds of millions. He stands to get hundreds of millions, but he doesn't even want it at that point. Brewster's Millions. So it's a lot of shenanigans going on because he can't tell anybody, and John Candy doesn't know what's happening. So it is a lot of fun. Walter Hill, check it out. All right, trying to pick up the pace, moving right along. Here's one that has a newer release here from Scream Factory that I got to pick up. My kids love this film. It's based on a board game. Tim Curry. What else do you want? I am talking about Clue. Yeah, everything's very reflective. I know. This movie is just a lot of fun, and if you like the board game and Tim Curry, this thing is just very well acted. And it's, what are you going to say? If you haven't seen Clue, see Clue, buy the new version. This one's kind of okay. But I look for this one has several different endings. There's like 4 total endings on this. So it's like the main ending, and then there's 3 surprise alternate endings on here. So that's pretty cool. But Clue, 1985, check it out. The next one's one I don't have a physical copy for, but I have talked about a lot on this channel, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I am talking about The Heavenly Kid. This is the film. I know a lot of people maybe haven't seen it. I think IMDb has it down at like 54 for this year, if you look at it. But for me, it's much higher because I love the film, and I still love the film. Very much a Clarence has to earn his right to get his wings type situation from It's a Wonderful Life, but drips with 80s. Love it so much. Yes, there are some cliches in it and everything, but Lewis Smith and Jason Gedrick together in this film, check it out. It is about an angel who's about a man who is trying to earn his way into heaven after he has died. Got Richard Mulligan in there also as an angel. Rafferty, check it out. Okay, moving along to one that I just picked up, and this is very famous, and it has my favorite actor of all time in it, and I'm talking about Harrison Ford and Witness. As you can see, I just got this in. I haven't even taken the plastic off. It is reflective as hell. I mock you with my ice cream cone Amish guy. If you haven't seen this film, it is a film about an Amish boy who witnesses a murder, and you have Harrison Ford plays a detective in this, so like he has to go in and kind of be with the Amish people, and he starts to kind of like fall in love with an Amish woman and all this kind of see Witness. Witness could be higher, but there are so many films from this year. But I think, Harrison Ford got Best Actor nomination for Witness. I mean, there's one of your Academy Awards, but I mean, I absolutely love Harrison Ford. He could about play in anything, and I would love him. So Witness comes in at number 14 on our list. Trying to speed it up here because I know these kind of go long because you got 25 movies. Coming in at 13 is Sylvester Stallone's second go round with Rambo. I am talking about Rambo First Blood Part 2. Iconic. This also has my friend Martin Kove in it, so I'm a little partial to Part 2, even though Part 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Marty kind of plays a questionable character in this, but you have James Cameron with this movie too, and he is like the co-writer of the screenplay with I think it's just him and Stallone. Is it back here? Yeah, it's Cameron and Stallone. And part 1 is better, but I love part 2, and like I said, I'm partial to it because my friend Marty, let me show you something. So every time I see Marty, he gives me something. He gave me this Karate Kid poster back here. He's given me other stills. He always gives me something and he writes a nice long message on it. And this is from Rambo 2 of him and Stallone there together. Everything is so reflective, it's hard to see. It's him and Stallone there together. And it says, Chase, we need cinematic driven mercenaries for Rambo, for Rambo 7, I think. Join us, your friend always, Marty Sensei Kreese. And that's how he signs most things. No mercy, baby. Every time I see Marty, he gives me something. So I have stuff all in my room. One day we'll do a room tour, but he gives me something awesome every time I see him. Rambo 2 coming in on our list there at number 13. All right. Number 12 is one that is probably higher for a lot of people watching this right now. And honestly, once we get in here to the top 15, especially, these could kind of juggle depending on how I feel on a day. But number 12 coming in, another horror comedy. A lot of fun. You have Linnea Quigley, who is like naked most of the time, I feel like, in this. And I am talking about, of course, Return of the Living Dead. I love this slipcover. Now, I have the new 4K Steelbook coming, too. But this is one of those movies I will double and triple dip on for different stuff. I love this slipcover right here. I hate this. I hate that. But I do love this slipcover. This movie is just a lot of fun. And this is actually one that I'm doing my own custom slipcover for another copy of it over here. Because I like art. And I love this movie. It's a lot of fun. I have a hat that you'll see me wear a lot of times because, I mean, I just love this movie. It could be higher. And the next one that's above it is probably going to surprise you. But again, a lot of these could change each day. This is less about where the movies rank in a given year and more about the depth of the movies in the whole year as a whole. Because eventually this is going to be year versus year. So, got Return of the Living Dead coming in there at number 12. Number 11, I'm going back to Chevy Chase again, and I am talking about European Vacation. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be like, what the hell? Why is that high? Jason Lively is awesome. He's a friend of my friend April's, and I love this. I don't know. I just like this movie. I'm a huge Chevy Chase fan. It has to be in the top 25 for me. There's so many quotable and funny things in here. You even have Clark doing the first ever known selfie when all of his family leaves him. That it's a popular meme, like selfie before it was a selfie. European Vacation, National Lampoon's, Christmas Vacation is my favorite. The original is next, but I love this movie, and I kind of never get tired of watching them. All right, number 10, we are in the top 10. This is a film I've talked about a lot, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but it is maybe my favorite John Candy film. Kind of goes between this and The Great Outdoors, probably as him as like the main lead, but this is him more of just the lead by himself, although you got like Rip Torn in this, and Cary Green is in this. Great soundtrack, summer rental, great summer movie. Jimmy Buffett with the lead soundtrack, and I love Jimmy Buffett. John Candy is a burnout air traffic controller in the Atlanta airport, and he gets a month off to take his family to Florida, and they stay down there a month. He ends up sailing in a competition against Richard Crenna, who plays the asshole local rich guy here, and summer rental is just a lot of fun. Definitely high up on my list. Probably much higher than a lot of people's, but hey, again, my list. And again, remember, it's not the movie rankings. It's overall, this is a yearly ranking thing. Number 9 coming in. IMDb, y'all, has this one down at like 79 for the year. And you got to be kidding me, because coming in at 9 on my list is Silver Bullet. How in the world the IMDb thinks there's like 78 movies better than this. Blows my mind. But you got the Stephen King story. You got Corey Haim here, Gary Busey, and this is one of my favorite werewolf films. I'm going to do a top 10 of my favorite werewolf films. I'm eventually going to get around to that. You're probably going to see this on there. Spoiler alert. This one's pretty intense. One that I loved as a kid because it involved a kid. And, it's got some werewolf action here. There is no way, stick it, IMDb. There is no way there's like 78 movies or whatever better than Silver Bullet. It comes in at 9 on my list. You have to see Silver Bullet if you haven't seen it. Come on. All right, the next one up, I just got this beautiful steel box, or steel, what'd I say? Steel book and a box to cover it. I got this box from this great guy on Etsy that makes these beautiful full slips, blockbuster box sets. And I make custom slips myself, but he does these hard boxes, and I am talking about a film that could be higher too on any other given day, and I am talking about Fright Night, one of my favorite vampire films. And when I get around to doing that video, you will probably see this on there. This is the hard box slip he made. Some awesome art back there. Absolutely very cool slip box. And this steelbook, though, is an amazing steelbook with the spot gloss on there. Look at that. I love Fright Night. Fright Night, when it came out, scared the living shit out of me. It really did, but, I was only like 6 years old. So or when it came out, so I was like, maybe, I don't remember seeing that one in the theater. We had to wait, especially as kids. We got a lot of our horror movies when we could go to the video rental store and get them. But now it's just a shit ton of fun, and I love it. I think I've watched it at least twice since I got it. I've only had it a few weeks, and it played through a couple of other times while I was doing stuff in here. I love Fright Night. Whole lot of fun. We need a Fright Night 2 release, but Fright Night 1, great film to add to the depth of 1985. Now, the next one is one that I guess we don't have a 4K on, and I haven't gotten the Blu-ray or any other upgrade. All I have is a old VHS, but man, it's Michael J. Fox. It was one of my favorite films as a kid. Still love it. Could be on that werewolf list of mine because I am talking about Teen Wolf. Some people, maybe they don't like it as much. Dude, I love Teen Wolf. I don't, you can say, well, it doesn't take werewolf movies seriously. It's werewolves. So, maybe they exist, maybe they don't, but we don't have to take them. We can take them as serious or as unserious as we want to. But it's really like dealing with a coming of age, and the werewolf is kind of a metaphor for a lot of things. But the movie is so much fun, and it has a good message at the end. He wants to be himself is what it teaches him. And that aside, who gives a shit about hidden messages and everything else? Turn your brain off. Enjoy movies. Enjoy Teen Wolf. It comes in at number 7 on my list. And again, this top 10, definitely top 15 could rotate, but Michael J. Fox, Teen Wolf, how can you go wrong? All right, next up, moving right along, we are now at number 6. And 6 is one that I just picked. I already had it on DVD. I got it on VHS. I just picked this up from the Criterion Collection because it is absolutely freaking loaded with special features and not unseen content and all kinds of stuff. I am talking about the iconic John Hughes film, not my favorite John Hughes film, but the iconic John Hughes film, The Breakfast Club. This Brat Pack original here. You see, I haven't even taken the plastic off of this one yet. And Criterion, the film snob the Film Snob collection. The Breakfast Club, I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, so I definitely identify with the Breakfast Club. And I mean, it's loaded: Emilio Estevez, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, Michael Anthony Hall again, who was always with John Hughes, it seemed like. And, you know, I'm sure everybody has seen or heard of the Breakfast Club, but it is a very heavy hitter here in 1985. Now, it's not one that I watch all the time because it gets heavy and kind of in some parts and everything, but, you know, it's iconic. It is absolutely iconic, and that's what you're looking for when you're looking for strength of years. And Breakfast Club rolling in at number 6 on our list. All right, number 5 is one that I just picked up another awesome slipcover from the same guy, or slipcase from the same guy. This film, I don't understand if it, maybe I'm just missing it somewhere, but I don't understand why it doesn't have a big 4K release, because this film is Arnold being Arnold at Arnold's best, and 80s action movies best. I'm talking about Commando. I mean, come on, the whole part where he's putting on the black, basically war paint, camouflage paint. This is that cool slip box. I have the Blu-ray. I don't know that there's anything better that exists out there. If there is, you guys let me know. I would love to see this get a 4K and a big pomp and circumstance release. Hey, Vinegar Syndrome VSU would be a great one right here. Commando, it is Arnold being Arnold at the height of Arnold being Arnold. I mean, hey, you know, he's dead tired. Commando is like a perfect 80s action movie. Again, turn your brain off, kick some ass with Arnold. Absolutely love Commando. Definitely adds to this year. All right, top 4 here. Top 4 are duking this thing out. And coming in at number 4 here is another Sylvester Stallone film. This one is probably more iconic than Rambo 2. I don't want to say probably. It is, because if he dies, he dies. Rocky 4. I mean, this one, I have this old DVD. I'm waiting on that new Rocky set that has every film. That I've got that on pre-order. That even has the recut of this by that Stallone did recently, the recut and the re-release of Rocky 4. I still like the original. Like, I know in the recut he cuts out the robot and all that shit, but like, to me it marks the time. It screams 80s. I love Rocky 4. I still hate that they killed Apollo Creed though. But that entrance to Apollo Creed, where he fights Drago, is crazy. I love this movie. If I can change and you can change, everybody can. Look, man. And some people are like, oh, it's one long music video. Who cares, man? Rocky 4 is awesome. Awesome. Definitely adds major weight to 1985. All right, top 3. And this next one is one I have talked about a lot. And it is another John Hughes film. It is my favorite John Hughes film. It is an iconic movie. Just got a beautiful release in 4K by Arrow that I absolutely love. I am talking about Weird Science. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because I've talked about it a lot on several videos. I love this 4K. I love Weird Science, everything about it, the sci-fi, the coming of age, the kind of bit of raunchiness, fun, comedy. Kelly LeBrock is beautiful in this movie. You know, what would you little maniacs like to do first? I would like to watch Weird Science all the time. Adds a lot to 1985 Weird Science. Now, the top 2 could definitely be interchangeable, and I've talked to you guys about both of them a lot. I'm going to go with number 2 first in this beautiful Cinemuseum set that I have not opened because I'm going to do a video on this and get into it, so I am saving it. It's killing me that I haven't opened it, but I am talking about the iconic, hey, you guys, it is Goonies here. The Goonies at number 2 for this year. Listen, this thing had firepower. Richard Donner, Steven Spielberg, Chris Columbus coming together to make this film. And if you really watch it, you can see all of them in there. It is basically Indiana Jones and Lethal Weapon combined together but for kids, with using kids. Not necessarily for kids, because when you rewatch it, you're like, maybe, there's a lot more adult stuff going on there. But it's like if you took those movies, somehow combined them, like you had a 75% Indiana Jones, a little 10% pinch of Lethal Weapon, a little pinch of this over here. You come out with the Goonies, absolutely iconic film. Don't care whether you like it or don't like it. You can't deny the iconic status of the Goonies. It adds or the iconic status of the people who worked to create it. It comes in here at number 2 on our list. And number 1, I feel like there should be no question, because this film is beyond iconic. Also, Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis launched a massive franchise. Michael J. Fox, come on, you know what I'm talking about here. It's Back to the Future. Was there any question? Again, this is one, whether you love this movie or not, you cannot deny the cultural relevance of this movie, the iconic nature of this movie. This movie is an icon of icons. Universal Studios still in Florida still uses stuff from this film. It still sells tons of stuff. Back to the Future, there's nothing I can say about it that hasn't been said, but it is an icon for a reason. It launched a franchise. It adds so much to the year 1985, and I mean, it has to come in at number 1. Now, before everybody gets mad at me, I said this year was so deep. This is why this year is going to contend for the overall winner. This year is so deep that I have movies like that I really like, that I have these great sets for, like this Red Sonja set with Arnold and that beautiful artwork, a Vinegar Syndrome VSU of Daryl. These films didn't even make the list. There are other ones that are great films that are like Oscar darlings, like you got Spielberg again with The Color Purple. There are other just fun. You have movies like After Hours, just came out on Criterion. You've got Reanimator from this year. You have Day of the Dead. You have Friday the 13th, A New Beginning. The Stuff came out this year. American Ninja came out this year. Cocoon came out this year. What else came out? Oh, Mask with Cher and Sam Elliott. Great film. Came out this year. Another huge iconic Brat Pack film, St. Elmo's Fire. Now, I never really cared that much for St. Elmo's Fire, but it was an iconic film with the Brat Pack all in it. Also came out this year. This year was absolute. American Ninja came out this year. If I didn't mention that already, I'm sitting here looking at this list. I'm like, oh, Phenomena with Dario Argento, Before You Come After Me. That came out this year. I don't like it as much as Demons. I don't, but it's one that I'm actively trying to get that beautiful 4K of. But I mean, just this year is absolutely loaded. There are going to be other years coming. So like I said, if this isn't your year, we're going to get to them. I haven't decided yet. Like, I'm really going to make the cuts down on this, because what I noticed is I've been doing my research on this. A lot of years that people have kind of mentioned that are great years are more top heavy. Like, there'll be years that, and that doesn't mean I'm not going to include them, but I've got to make the overall decision. But there'll be years that people remember these 2 or 3 massive films that come out, and so they think that's a great year. But when you look, it's like once you get past like film number 10 or 11, it's a bunch of movies that people don't really remember that much or talk about anymore. Like, it's very top heavy, but then it falls out and has no depth. This year has so much depth in it. I think, what else was it this year? I can't remember if it was this year I was looking at or oh yeah, the another one that is not on this list that I just had on should be a VSU list, 1985, The Legend of Billie Jean. I mean, I think they IMDb had it down at like 112. That is a great movie. It is a great movie. I just put it on another list because I think it's a great movie. That's how stacked this year is. I mean, 1985 is a serious contender. It may not have spawned as many franchises as like 1984, the first year that we did. So check that one out. But it has absolutely iconic, heavy hitter, bangers, whatever you want to call it. I think that's the most overused word. But I'm sorry, I'm a writer with an English degree too. So I hear these words. But the banger is appropriate here. 85 had a lot of bangers in it, and it may not have had as many franchise starters, but absolutely iconic. And it has the depth. I mean, you can go 50, 60 movies deep. There are so many movies on here. I could pull out others on here too. And I think that's what kind of competes for overall like yearly ranking is when you have depth. Like you could be top heavy and have 3 or 4 iconic films, but then that's kind of, it peters out after that. So I've got at least 8 more of these coming before we do our overall top 10 yearly rankings. So let me know in the comments what you think. And hey guys, you can now join my channel as a channel member. There's 3 different levels. You can come be a pop culture friend, pop culture family, a pop culture icon status. You get kind of great perks and swag, shout outs, all that kind of stuff. Your name overlaid. I'm even doing one of the tiers where you can get some of my movies and slip covers I make and things like that. Private, live stream, members only, all that jazz. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, it's just a few bucks depending on what you want to do. It really helps out doing the channel. I know you guys hear that crap all the time, but it really does. It adds up. And or you can just do a super thanks and get me a coffee to keep me going. Because, oh yeah, check out my Horror Nights. This is Halloween Horror Nights that I love at Universal Studios. On point. Coffee keeps me going making these videos, and sometimes there's something besides coffee in these that keeps me going. Little beverage in there, but you can join if you want, or you can just hang around. Please like and subscribe, share it, get it out there. I love you all so much. Thank you very much for everything, blowing this channel up so fast, and I am truly humbled, and I really appreciate it. And until next time, this is Chase with AV Pop Culture saying be kind, rewind like always, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.